Hi, and welcome to DIY with Ashley. Today's video is a viewer requested tutorial, and I'm going to be showing you how to make a clutch. This project is easier than it looks, and you don't need a lot of fabric to make it. So let's get started. To make your own clutch, you'll need medium to heavyweight fusible fleece interfacing, a half a yard of fabric, a rotary cutter or fabric shears, craft scissors, sewing pins, an acrylic ruler, 6 inches of double fold bias tape in a coordinating color, a cutting mat, a decorative button, coordinating thread, a sewing machine, an iron and an ironing board, and a hand sewing needle. To start, let's begin by cutting our fabric and our fleece. To make the strap piece, you'll need to cut one of your fusible fleece and one of your fabric 7 by 7 inches. For the main part of the clutch, you'll need to cut 2 pieces of fabric 10 inches by 7 inches and 1 piece of fusible fleece 10 inches by 7 inches. To make the bottom half of the clutch, you'll need to cut 1 piece of fabric 13 inches by 7 inches and 1 piece of fusible fleece 6.5 inches by 7 inches. The first part of the clutch we're going to assemble is the bottom. So get your iron ready and follow the instructions on your fusible fleece. We're going to iron the fleece to the wrong side of our fabric, and then we're going to fold over the excess fabric and iron the edge to create a crisp, clean edge. We can go ahead and pin along the top edge and bottom edge and leave the sides alone for now. You want to take your bottom piece to your machine and sew along the folded edge using a 1/8 inch top stitch, meaning we're going to sew 1/8 inch down from that edge and create a top stitch line. For the bottom, we can sew a basting stitch, sewing a 1/4 inch away from the edge. Next, we'll construct the strap. We'll start by ironing the fusible fleece to the back side of the strap fabric. Press your iron down on the top of the fleece so it fuses to the fabric and it doesn't slip or slide around. Make sure you flip over your strap and iron the right side of the fabric as well. Once the fleece is ironed on, you can fold the strap in half with the right sides of the fabric touching. Pin along the edge. Sew along your pinned edge using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. After we're done sewing our strap closed, we can go ahead and turn it right side out. When you have your strap right side out, we're going to go ahead and iron it flat. After we've finished ironing the strap, we can go ahead and top stitch 1/8 inch away from the edge on both sides of the strap. Now it's time to iron on the fleece to the main part of the clutch. Again, we're going to iron on the fleece to the back side of the fabric and turn it over and iron on the right side of the fabric. Next, we're going to attach the strap and the closing loop to our main part of the bag. We'll start by measuring 3.5 inches down from the bottom part of the main bag and pin the strap to the sides. We can sew basting stitches a 1/4 inch away from the edge and remove our sewing pins. With the strap now basted on, you can lay the bottom half of the clutch over the bottom half where the strap is attached. Then we're going to place the lining fabric over everything. For the placement of the bottom part of the clutch, it doesn't matter which side of fabric you use. You just have to make sure that the unfinished edges are all lined up at the bottom of the main piece of fabric. Everything's going to be a little bulky, so make sure you keep your edges lined up as you pin along the bottom part of the clutch. Once you're done pinning, we're going to go ahead and attach the loop to the top part of the clutch. Take your bias tape and sew closely along the open edge to seal it shut. Try to sew 1/8 inch away from that open edge. Next, measure out a piece that's big enough to fit over your fastener, then add 1 inch for the seam allowance. We're going to form our loop and find the middle of the top of the clutch. Place the loop in the center, turn towards the inside of the bag so it's not sticking out. Go ahead and pin your loop in place. Then we'll finish pinning around the rest of the clutch making sure to keep our raw edges even as we pin. Then we're going to sew around the entire clutch using a 1/2 inch seam allowance and leaving a 2 to 3 inch opening at the bottom of the clutch. We're going to use this opening to turn the clutch right side out. After you've sewn all the way around the clutch, be sure to clip your corners so that you can turn your clutch right side out. To help turn out the corners of your clutch, you can also use a turning stick. When you're done turning your clutch right side out, you can also top stitch the top flap of the clutch, sewing 1/8 inch away from the edge. Now it's time to use your hand sewing needle and your thread to attach your button. We're also going to hand sew the bottom opening closed. Remember, you have 2 parts to sew. We're going to sew on the outside of the bag and on the inside lining part as well. Start by tying a knot at the bottom of your thread and begin by slip stitching the outer opening of the clutch. Once we're done with this part, we're going to go ahead and go to the inside opening and also use a slip stitch to sew that shut. Once you're done, you can go ahead and knot the end of your thread and cut off any excess. And voila! Your bag is done and you have a nice little carrying strap on the back side as well. Thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I really hope you liked it. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and if this is your first time visiting my channel, don't forget to subscribe to join my DIY family so you don't miss out on any future tutorials. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.